Hey guys, this is the continuation of chapter 19. In addition to the horrible living conditions and the horrible working conditions women face, they face one other major obstacle, which many whites dupe white slavery. Basically, it was men deceiving women into prostitution. So immigrant women were the primary victims of this. Men were promised a woman a job in housing when they came off the dock, as you see in this political cartoon. They would help them with their luggage. However, the men would then deceive the woman into prostitution because men wanted to profit from them. So in essence, they became the pimps. However, other women who were American citizens entered prostitution as a result of low wages, economic desperation, abandonment, sexual and domestic abuse. So women really had a difficult time in the late 1800s, early 1900s. As a result, we have several female reformers who took a stand to try to help women. So horrified by urban problems that we already discussed, Jane Addams, who you see sitting here, asked Congress to act to try to protect women. But she didn't. She went a step further. She also acted, and she established what becomes known as the Hull House in 1889 in Chicago. This is a settlement house. The Hull House is a settlement house. And settlement houses, in general, helped women by raising funds to address urgent needs and help neighborhoods. Settlement houses offer employment, counseling, medical clinics, daycare centers, a bathhouse, a playground, cultural activities, physical activities, and food, among other things. Settlement houses set the groundwork for social workers and progressivism. Social work became a profession, and many women saw an opportunity to improve society while providing for themselves. Jane Addams is one of the major founders of this. Here on the background, you kind of see a bed. Could be hers. It could be one that was used for other women who were out working, and their kids were left here for daycare center purposes. Jane Addams is major reformer in terms of trying to get better improvement for urban cities. So make sure you know that. Here's an example of settlement houses and the services that they offer. So on the left hand side, you see an immigrant woman who is trying to learn English by using this vocab word. Within that language, she is learning how to English. In English, she's learning proper cooking, hygiene, child care, and other domestic practices. On the right hand side, we see public health clinics. We see a nurse here and another nurse here. Possibly also some of those settlement houses workers, and they looks like they're attending to children and also attending to a man here. So settlement houses were definitely a big help for immigrants and for the poor as well. You see here in her later years, Jane Addams was still caring for children. She felt that children needed to take care of it, and if government was not able to do so, and religion was not able to do so, then people who had the heart to do it should do so. But she was just one of many women who tried to help out. Julia Lathrop also proposed juvenile courts, separate than obviously adult courts. Margaret Singer, in an age where birth control was taboo to speak about, she came out and talked about birth control because she believed that birth control, or giving women the right over her own body, empower women, and that women shouldn't be at the mercy of men. Florence Kelly also petitioned for better wages for women and also to have Congress ban child labor. Successful women who help with social issues in the urban setting. Now, all these issues, actually, the foundation of all that, or beneath all of it, was the distinctions between social classes. The urban cities, the cities, they had lavish lifestyle, especially the elite, the wealthy. They had their dancing, fancy clothing, they had statues here, big apartments. Whereas the lower class, we talked about it all chapter, lived in horrible living conditions, worked in horrible working conditions. Some of them were unable to provide for themselves. So it was also a social class struggle over economics. And what you see here in this political cartoon is that the lower class eventually gets fed up with it and starts to call for change. They want to rip the barrier that's preventing them from social mobility. So industrialization causes major conflict between social classes. Now, because of all the horrible things that were going on in the cities, people who lived in the cities, urban dwellers, looked for urban entertainment. They wanted to kind of escape from the horrors of realities. So, one of the major entertainment methods here in the late 1800s, early 1900s were the vaudeville theaters, where entertainment included dancing, singing, and comedy. These new forms of entertainment were help people to relieve from the urban problems. Also, this form of entertainment offered jobs and opportunities to showcase your talents. So people had the opportunity to, at least in the shows, in the vaudeville theaters, move up in social mobility. So what you see here is different people of different talents, including animals. So kind of like the circus, dancing, trapeze possibly. And then on the right hand side, you also see a woman who might be showcasing her dancing skills. Other method of entertainment was music. Music became a booming entertainment. Ragtime was a type of music genre. Ragtime comes from African American music. Its name comes from its ragged rhythm combined with a steady beat in the bass, and offbeat rhythm in the treble. This became popular with all audience and social classes, so at least music was able to unite people. Scott Joplin, which you see here, he becomes the king of ragtime. He is very interesting because Scott Joplin was actually the son of former slaves, and he introduced ragtime music at the Chicago's World's Fair that we talked about earlier in the chapter. Along with ragtime music, we also had the blues. Blues was music which spoke about hard work and heartbreak. Blues was appealing for the urban youth who were disappointed by city life and who felt lonely. Blues and ragtime influenced 20th century American culture like no other cultural influence did. The combination of music and dance halls set the stage for brothels and dance halls. First, dance halls became a place for dating. No longer were youth sitting at home under the watchful eyes of their parents. They were dancing the night away with new and provocative dances. Men and women went to dance halls to meet someone. However, some women attended dance halls in search of economic opportunity or sexual pleasure, and that's kind of what you see here, a dance hall girl. Most women who went this way actually became prostitutes or worked in brothels. Today we call them strip clubs, and they did it for money. Now, this also creates a big conflict between what is morally right and what is morally wrong, but it was a new method of entertainment. And there was also a gay subculture that began to emerge in the cities. So we see different forms of entertainment going on. If this type of entertainment sounds too expensive, public parks like Central Park, depicted here, provided an affordable way to get away from the city and enjoy nature. Parks added skating, tennis, baseball, and swimming pools. The elite, on the other hand, built art in natural history museums, libraries, cultural institutions, as learning centers, and for entertainment purposes. So this kind of wraps up an idea of how city life was, the pros and the cons of city life.